Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Steven Rogers.
I'm Andrew Chavone. Yes, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, welcome back.
That's the song, right?
I think that's actually the slogan for Kohl's or something. Welcome back, welcome back. Or maybe that's Applebee's. It's definitely a song that I think a company co-opted.
Yeah, I remember when Vanilla Coke came back. They had that in the theaters with that song, and I was just as excited as if it was the Spider-Man trailer.
You were excited about Vanilla Coke making a return?
That was back when I drank soda like they were not coming back. And
I also like Vanilla Coke. You know, when I craved a Coke, but I'm like, this isn't chemically enough. Can I get the vanilla? Some kind of formula invented in a lab that kind of tastes like vanilla, but it isn't.
can you try to convince me that that's what vanilla tastes like?
Yeah, right. This formula that somebody created in their basement.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now when people call me vanilla, I'm like, which vanilla?
The real or the Vanilla Coke vanilla? Because that's caramel colored. If they call you vanilla, that's a little interesting.
Yeah, but vanilla Coke, they're like, oh, something's wrong with you.
Do you know can you hear like a gardening thing going on, or is that just something I hear out of my window? You can't.
I can't hear anything.
Okay, great, awesome. Yeah, of course, like the minute we record, somebody decides to trim their hedges and blow all the leaves, and hope they got their names first. But all right. So you're with Brian, right? You're still with Brian Regan?
I'm in Florida right now. A week
my God.
after you're in Florida.
Yes, back to
I'm
back.
Chasing you across the country. Yeah,
Catch me if you can.
I knew that car that you bought your dad was gonna bite you in the ass, but I'm in Pensacola right now.
Oh, speaking of Coca-Cola,
Yeah, Pensacola vanilla.
vanilla flavored Pensacola. new from Coke.
Welcome back.
Pensacola, that's on the Panhandle, right?
Yes, which I'm in Central Time Zone. I
No
didn't know
way.
The Panhandle's in another time zone. Florida's
Another time.
crazy.
I didn't know that either. I never been to Pensacola.
Yeah, it's
I've been
apparently
to
the beaches here are
Pencola,
great.
but never Pensacola.
I've been to Bic, but
It's pretty mechanical down there. A lot of pieces.
yeah, sometimes it gels, but
It's sometimes out of lead. What's down there? What is there a big theater? What's going on?
there's a theater. Apparently, it's like it's pretty much sold out tonight. And,
nice.
Yeah, and they have like white sand beaches here. I might go before the show to the beach because life is. And
It's on the Gulf, the Pensacola.
yes, yeah, and 18 holes, but
Big Gulf.
all right. See you later.
Put your Pensacola in the big Gulf.
Big gulf. Oh, you got your big gulps, huh? All right. See you later.
You know that
What's
was
that from?
improvised. That line was improvised.
Really?
Yeah.
He's so funny.
I guess he was just supposed to walk out and get into the car, and then he saw those extras. The man's a genius.
The man is a genius. I feel bad for those extras though. Going, he's just supposed to get in the car.
I don't know what to say now. I'm completely caught off guard.
Do you think the extras are mad that they missed their moment to have like a great improv with Jim Carrey?
Probably, yeah, because they didn't say anything. He goes, big
Yeah.
gulps, huh? Well, see you later. They could have said some profound line there.
Yeah.
Ooh, Starbucks.
Oh yeah.
I got a Starbucks cup, but I got Andrew Chavone brew.
What's in an Andrew Chavone brew?
Which is a lot. It's a lot of. It's too many grounds. So You're like completely wired by cup 2.
What are you having coffee from my place? Oh man.
What was I going to say about Florida? Oh, because I saw a picture. You posted a picture of Brian Regan, and I noticed he was wearing a blazer
Yes.
at the club in Helium. He was not.
Right.
So you think that he has different attire for theaters as opposed to clubs? Which makes sense.
Yeah, he looks very sharp. I mean, he still dresses nice for the clubs, but I agree. Like the blazer is kind of weird for a club.
Yeah, I think so too.
But
I mean, in the 80s, I think so. But
right, but those were rolled up sleeves.
those are rolled up sleeves, no collared shirt underneath, just t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. He every time he comes in the green room for the theater, I'm like, I'm underdressed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I always wear a collared shirt, and jeans, and nice sneakers. I don't, because I'm like the opener. I feel like you don't have.
Yeah,
to
you
do
can't wear
this.
dress shoes as the opener.
Right, and you can't wear a blazer because it's like, well, then he's not dressed as nice.
Right, you gotta be underdressed for compared to him. Yeah,
Right, but
I feel like that's a good layer. I mean, not layer, but I can't figure out the word. I guess it's a layer. You're the first layer. You don't wear a blazer, and then he's the top layer. He wears a blazer.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and that creates the cake. But it's
a piece of one. It's a piece of one.
Piece of pizza.
Half pumpkin.
Man, I'm sorry. I missed you. I haven't seen you since we did the Matthew Broussard, which was a while ago now.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that before I logged on. It's been a long time. A lot has happened in between now and because we usually talk to each other at least once a week on Zoom or person or whatever. And so we recorded our one last Wednesday. What even date was that? September 3rd?
It wasn't even September yet, I think, was it?
Maybe not.
Oh, it was September 1st or something. It was like right in the beginning because I was headed to. You and I had a flight the next day.
Yes.
To
so we can
places.
talk. We can talk about what happened the night of our recording. The night of our recording, everybody, was a big event in New York City. I don't think anyone in the country really understands how big of an event it was or even cares.
The amount of footage I've seen since then. So we're talking about the hurricane, everybody.
Out of nowhere. Not a hurricane.
I mean,
what is it even called?
Was it Ida?
Well, there was one that they were like, this is going to be the big one. It's going to wash away the East Coast. And then it was just like a little bit of rain.
Yeah.
And then this one that no one talked about came on September 1st or whatever Wednesday that was and completely washed away New York City.
It was insanity. I mean, I'll say my thing. I want to know about you, but
okay.
I had spots in the city that night.
Oh, really?
I get on the train. Near you and I is an elevated track. So I'm on the elevated train and pouring, just pouring. And it's ridiculous. And I'm like one stop away from going into the city. Every show I'm on messages me, canceled. And then I turn right around and go home, and it's just buckets coming down. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. I get a notification, my flight for the next day, canceled.
Canceled completely.
Canceled. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I'm getting...
What time is this, by the way? What time you think?
I would say from 8 to the 8 o'clock range, because my first show was at 8, and I was heading in the city around 7:30.
Okay.
So I'm home, and I'm like getting a hold of Caitlin. I'm like, hey, are you okay? Like, she was already in the city for spots. They didn't cancel them. She's at the Comedy Cellar, and she gets a hold of me and goes, I'm stuck here. At this point, the footage that we've seen, all subways are flooded.
Mm-hmm.
Just... There's people in tubes, like floating.
Like floater tube things.
Yeah, like
Because in London they call the subway the tube.
Oh, that's right.
I guess you could call the subway tunnel a tube.
Yeah, and in London, those things you float on in pools are called subways.
Yeah. Hey, the subway is a little low on air. Can you help me out here? Do you have a pump?
This subway is shaped like a duck. So I get a hold of Caitlin. She's stuck in the city. I'm like, I'll come get you. And she's like,
oh, no way.
No. Yeah, she's like, don't come. The car might get stuck. You might get trapped.
Yes.
At this point, I didn't know that this was happening to people. And she was able to find a ride to Brooklyn and then a ride up from there because there was all the Ubers were becoming like $100 and going up and up and up or not coming. And it was insanity. Thankfully, she got home safe.
How'd she get home again?
She got a ride from a comic that was going to Brooklyn, and she just got as far as Brooklyn and then got an Uber that was over there to our place. But it was crazy. Now tell me your night.
Well, I saw a video on TikTok about the Comedy Cellar. It was a guy in the Comedy Cellar saying this comedy club is flooding, and they're still making us pay our check. And it's people literally at ankle deep water, like filling out the tip thing in the Comedy Cellar. I was like, oh my god! And then Caitlin was there. It's so crazy.
Yeah, insane. I guess a comic was on stage and wouldn't get off, and somebody had to go get off the stage.
Somebody in the audience or somebody who worked there?
I don't know. All of it is I've heard it from rumors, not even from Kate.
Oh, but, okay. That's so funny. My story is I had a flight, same thing. I was going to Jacksonville out of LaGuardia. Only 2 flights a day come out from LaGuardia to Jacksonville. I got like the latest one I could. It was in the afternoon. So the flood happened on Wednesday. I was like, I got to go to bed early because I had a rough week, and I was like, I don't want to miss the flight, even though it's in the afternoon. Go to bed. Wake up. My downstairs neighbor. I live on the first floor in Queens.
Yeah.
The guy who lives in my basement screaming. His dog going nuts. I wake up. I'm like, what's going on? It's just like 11:30. I look at my phone and I have texts from people I know that are saying, "Are you okay?" I'm like, right. Okay. What? I was asleep. I don't know what's going on. I look on social media. Flood videos
everywhere.
Flood. I don't know because I live in Queens or what. There's a video of the next block over.
What?
And the street is a river.
I didn't know it hit so close to us. Like the flooding.
Yeah. So apparently if you lived in a valley or something, I guess the problem happened. I guess because the city is so dirty or whatever. I don't know the budget or what's going on. New York City is trash everywhere.
Right.
That trash blocked up all the drains in our area. So if you live in a valley or any kind of elevation, the water went down, couldn't, or it was draining slowly. It was like in a bathtub where
right, the hair.
You have hair. If you have a lot of hair, if you live with a woman,
basically,
yeah, the drain's slow. So so then it all built up and flooded people who, and so that thing block over was like a little, I guess in the kind of like a valley kind of rift. So it was completely. It looked like the Hudson in the middle of Queens. So I saw this and I'm like, oh my god! I parked next to the East River the night before or that night. My car's in it because it was like, parking the alternate side. The only one I could find was all the way by the East River. And that's probably why I could find it because everyone figured the flood was coming. And I was like, in the middle of the night, I'm like, oh my God, my car's flooded. It's probably floating in the ocean by now. Freaked out all night. I'm just like frantically scanning videos and stuff. And
you see your car in the background.
Right. That's basically what I was thinking. Yeah.
A guy paddling on the roof.
The car looks like it's in an inflated subway. Inner subway.
Inner subway.
Inner subway. My heart's like racing. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, I got to go out. I got to go check on the car. And then I see the next thing I look at on social media, that's like a thing from the mayor that says, do not leave your house. You could die or something. It's like a state of emergency. And then the next tweet I see is from the alternate side parking account that New York City has. Like you can see when the alternate side, when you have to move your cars in effect. So the tweet from the mayor says, do not leave your house. And the next thing says, parking regulations will be in effect tomorrow in New York City. From the same account, like within minutes. And then I click on that and all the replies are like, are you kidding me? You're going to put our life at risk. So I look outside of my window and there's no water outside of on our street. So I'm like, all right, even though I'm parked far away. Finally, eventually fall back asleep. First thing I do, wake up, go outside. It's birds chirping, sun.
It was the most beautiful day the next day.
Most beautiful day I've ever had in New York City. Literally, it was like, the Beauty and the Beast when she says bonjour or something. It was like a Disney moment.
There goes Andrew looking for his flooded car.
He is very scared. He's gonna be trapped here.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. So I get to the car. I guess because it was by the river, all the water like flowed into the river. It didn't have anywhere to build up, like I was saying.
Sure.
So I was okay. I looked around. I opened the door. I expected to open the door and all this water and a fish falls out.
Like. You see a guy with the scuba gear on.
He swims out of my car and then a treasure chest falls out. So I open it. There's no water in the car, and I smell, and I'm like feeling around. It's completely bone dry. I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Thank God. I guess it wasn't that bad. And then I go back to my place, and my downstairs neighbor is yelling at my landlord like he's like, don't come in here, and she's like, I tried to call, and he's like, I can't get your call because my phone is ruined because of the flood. And
oh my God,
his whole life is over. He put his TV on the curb. I don't know what happened in the basement, but I guess it flooded all the way up until my house and then went away. It's like it was like Parasite. The poor people live in the most flood prone.
Yeah.
And he's not like a rich guy. He can probably hear everything I'm saying, but. So now he's in an even worse position.
Well, he has no TV. He's got to listen to something.
He's got to listen to us, yeah. He probably was looking at his watch like, I heard him say on the phone they're recording at 1.
I see what you did there, calling the tube a subway.
He's like, ha, I just hear a ha-ha below me. It's like a ghost.
When we do the topics, he starts yelling his.
The anxiety of being my apartment ruined. Like, oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Retweet.
I don't know if I can relate to this one because I live on the first floor. So
his dog's okay, right? His dog's okay?
His dog was barking a lot, but it was fine.
Okay.
The dog probably has PTSD for the rest of its life, but it's alive. Probably was crawling on, on a piece of on a door or something like in Titanic.
Or doing the paddle.
Yeah, he's doggy paddling his little heart out. So all the water went away. I don't know. So I guess all the drains got cleared, or eventually it went into the drain. So I checked my flight. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be canceled. It's gonna be delayed. On time. I have like. Between checking the car, getting ready, in my head, I'm like, this is canceled. I didn't even pack or anything. So I see it's on time.
Andrew.
I see it's on time. I frantically pack. Manny,
How much time do you have?
at this point, so it's in LaGuardia. It's only like it's supposed to be an 8-minute drive from my place.
Right.
I
But
checked
wait,
it.
how much time do you have when you look at your phone to the time your plane is taking off?
I probably have about an hour and a half, or maybe 2 hours.
Oh my god!
Probably have
Oh
like
my
2
God.
hours until I start getting ready. I'm like, all right, let me just see how long it takes to get to the airport. I look on my phone. It's supposed to be 8 minutes. It's now over a half hour. It's like almost 40-minute drive because the roads are still flooded. Everything,
Yeah.
all these trees are in the highway. Traffic's not moving. So I'm like, oh my
No.
God, throwing a lot of stuff. Get in the car. Maddie takes me to the airport. We have to go all these long ways to avoid the highway, even though the airport is so close. We could have
That's
jogged.
what happened to me.
We could have jogged faster. Oh, that happened to you too?
I'm in the Uber. I'm like, what was this guy's first day going to the? At first, I was mad at my Uber driver. I was like, and then I'm like, oh my! And then I found out about all the flooded highways.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like we had to take it was a half an hour to 45 minutes for me as well.
Because you had to avoid the highways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and in Queens, the highways go through everything. So to avoid the highways, you have to really go around everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I finally get there. I think I have maybe 40 minutes till my flight leaves. 40 minutes. Get into the terminal. In my mindset, I'm still like under pandemic. I haven't flown since maybe early summer, and there was like easy going. The airport was bananas. Did you have that too?
I have never seen that many people in the airport. And I have Clear, which is, you get to the front of the line. It's not TSA pre-check, but it gets you to the front of the line. You sign up for Clear. People were signing up for Clear right there to try to get to the front of this line, so much that there was a long line
To sign up for
Clear.
Clear. What terminal were you? Was this LaGuardia or JFK?
LaGuardia. I was at Delta.
My God, I was at Delta too. I was at Terminal B. Probably,
I
or
think
D,
I was
or
at D.
C.
I
No,
was
maybe
at
I was
D.
at C. Yeah. Same thing. The Clear line was packed. I was in the
The
line.
C was all over the highway.
The sea was angry, my friends.
So I'm sorry. You're in the terminal.
The line, no one knows where the line starts because there's so many people. It's like snaking back and forth, and I'm in a line, and then I get to the front, and they're like, "This is Clear only." I'm like, "Clear? I don't even know what that is." And then I have to like, I know my plane is leaving soon, and I know this line is not moving because I think all the TSA people were flooded, or they couldn't get to the airport on time. The people who work at the airport, I don't think could make it to the airport, so it's even worse.
Yeah.
And I have to like, I pretend I have Clear. I'm like, I have this. I'm like waving my phone at nobody, and I'm using that to cut in line. My heart is like going insane. It. People are yelling. It's complete chaos. No employee is there to like guide people either. It's a mess.
Oh.
Everyone's just like forming lines on their own, and oh my God, the anxiety of not knowing what to do is out of this world when it's high stakes.
Yeah.
You got to make this flight. It's the last flight out of LaGuardia. That's where I'm
Out
going.
of Vietnam.
Yeah, it's the last chopper. Last chopper out of Kabul.
Yeah, it was the stress just getting there. And you think once those automatic doors open, you're like, all right,
I made it.
Stepping into the airport, and then you look and you're like, good God.
Good God, man.
I'm going to Limestone Comedy Festival. I'm getting pretty far up in the line still by doing Clear, but it's still a bit of a wait. I see two other comics that I know are going to that festival at the end of the line. And I'm like, oh, they're on my flight. My flight got changed because of the first one being canceled. I'm like, they're on my flight. They're not going to make it.
Yeah.
There's no way. And I'm I finally get through it all, and there's people trying to cut. They're like, oh, my flight's late. And they're yelling the classic line, we're all late.
Yeah.
And, like, it's a nightmare getting through. I get to my gate, and I see the two comics sprint in. And I'm like, how did you make it? They lied and said that they were going to be pallbearers at a funeral
Oh my God, what a story!
to cut everybody in line. It was insane.
Man, so that just triggered me because so like the line of security has those ropes or whatever, and then there's like a humongous line to get into the ropes. So I get into the ropes by making up I have something on my phone. All I do is go, excuse me, blah, 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 and I like cut in because I pretend I'm talking to somebody when I'm not. Because I'm never going to ask somebody, hey, can I cut in front of you? I'll never ask that. I just have to
Deceit them.
Deceit. Yeah, deceit's way easier than asking somebody for something.
Yeah.
So I
You're
just
trying to get to your deceit.
Yeah, right. I confidently, show something on my phone to nobody, cut in front of the line. So I'm like, all right, I'm in the ropes. Thank God. The ropes are next to your clear thing. They're letting the clear people in first, not letting my rope in at all. So I'm like watching the clear people go in, and then they send like maybe three clear people in, and then one of our people in, and the line is like dripping so slow. The time is ticking, and I posted this on my Instagram story.
I saw it.
My iWatch or Apple Watch says, "Are you okay? Are you having a heart attack? Because you haven't moved in 10 minutes, and your BPM is like 1/40 or whatever."
Oh man,
I've never been that. Well, I have been that anxious before, but literally, I could feel the heart beating out of my chest. I feel like so helpless, sweat's pooling on my forehead because I got to make this flight. It's the last flight. What's going to happen? I don't know. And then this guy behind me starts getting nervous. He's like from Brazil or something. I don't know where he is, but he goes, I need to make the flight. And I'm like, me too. And he starts moving. He starts moving through the line, and I follow him.
Oh, boy.
He's my inner tube. This Brazilian crazy guy.
Subway.
What?
Your inner subway.
You're my inner subway. He goes to somebody, goes, I'm late. And they give the thing like, we're all late, buddy.
Yeah.
He talks to an employee, and the employee's like, okay, we have a late line right here. I'm like, oh my God, why didn't that? I didn't even know.
A late line?
Yeah, I guess there's like a line for people who planes are about to leave. So I get behind him, we get in, and then that late line's not moving, but I see like in front of the clear that's moving. So I go to this employee, I go, blah, 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 blah. And she goes, I can't help you, honey. I go back to the late line. And then when I talk to that woman, this guy in front of the ropes goes, are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
I'm leaving. Go back to this other late line, and then finally,
you trying to get in the clear is putting you in present danger.
Yes, exactly. A clear Eyes by Ben Stein. So I finally get there. I literally have like 8 minutes or less than 8 minutes when I'm putting my stuff on the conveyor belt. Like 8 minutes till the plane leaves. Load up everything. Take out the shoes, and I run.
8 minutes till the plane
leaves. The gate has been open. It's been boarding. 8 minutes until the flight's supposed to leave the ground.
So that door is open. People are on your plane.
People are on the plane.
You just got in the line in the TSA.
I put on the conveyor belt thing. Whatever.
Oh my God.
The scanner. I'm going nuts. I'm like literally. I feel like I'm about to pass out from the stress. Get through the line. I just pick up. You have to take up your laptop. I just pick that up, put it on my arm like a football. Grab all the stuff, put it in my pocket, and just sprint to the gate. Literally looking at my watch. It's like a countdown in an action movie.
Oh my God.
5, 4, 3. Carrying the laptop like an insane person. Finally get to my gate. I go, hey, blah, blah, blah. I can't even talk.
I can't help you, honey.
Yeah. They're like, okay, yeah, you're good. You're good. Just put it in your bag. You have to check your bag because all the overheads are full. I'm like, okay. Put in my laptop. Literally, my laptop is on the ground. I pick it up and put it in my bag. Oh. And I run down the thing, and then I run down to the gate, and they go, you have to check your bag, so you have to get a tag from them. I'm like, oh, I run back up the gate. I get a tag from them. I can't even breathe. I'm like panicking.
Right.
It's like a mixture of the panic of stress and the panic of exercising.
I know you. Your eyes are gigantic at this point. You don't even have a forehead.
I don't. Yeah, it's all eyes, sweat. Literally, like my heart is like expanded into my whole torso.
You look like a cartoon just saw a hot lady.
But yeah, my tongue's wagging out from exhaustion. And the pilot is there the whole time, like leaning against the thing, talking to the people who work at.
Yeah, he's all cool.
He's all cool.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I guess because right. Who are those? What are those people called that check you in before you walk down that tube thing? Employees? They don't have a name, do they?
Airport. I don't know.
Whatever those people are, he's leaning on
attendants.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he's leaning on their counter, talking on that, shooting the breeze.
Yeah,
I'm literally in the wind. I'm getting shot by the breeze.
They call me the breeze.
They call me. So I finally get the tag. And I go, and I start like about to run back down the tube, and he goes, "Wait there," or he says something to get my attention. I turn around, and he goes, "We're not gonna leave without you." And I'm
wow.
And I'm like, that's a lie, because they were planning on leaving without me. So then I get down to the gate, and then literally, so there's like right before you like enter the plane, there's that door, and then there's that tube that goes to the door, and then there's like a little like trap door where they tell me to wait because some person is going to get my bag to put it on the plane.
Yeah.
And then while I'm waiting by the trap door, there's a guy right there too who looks exactly like me. He's wearing the same kind of clothes. He's like, I'm wearing shorts. He's wearing shorts, wears a t-shirt, has the same hair, has the same kind of face. We're wearing like the same mask.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh my God, I cut in front of so many people in line." That's the first thing he says. And I go, "Me too."
You met you from another dimension.
I meant like I think the stress of the event manifested a me.
Yeah. You ruptured the space-time continuum.
Yeah, he's in like world 8 or whatever. What's that Marvel thing?
What if?
What if? What if I?
What if Andrew didn't make it to his plane?
Right. What if he left a little bit earlier or later?
Then you see the co-pilot. "We're not going to leave without you."
Right. Mr. Cool. You ever have that thing where you're like so stressed but no one cares? You know, it was the first time I met somebody who cares, and I wanted to be like, "Yeah, man. Oh my God, can you believe it?" But this woman opened this trap door, took my bag, and said, "Okay, get on." So I couldn't talk to this guy. He might have just been a figment of my imagination. I don't even know, because I didn't see him on the plane.
You might have had an out-of-body experience.
So I get on the plane. I'm like walking down, and then I see the pilot, and I'm like, well, I should say something because he said he was waiting on me. So I walk in. I'm like, "I'm here. I know you were waiting on me." And he goes, "Huh?" He doesn't remember. He wasn't waiting on me.
He goes, "I was talking to that guy," and then you see the other version of you.
And then he just like fades away, and he's not real, and it's where I'm supposed to be sitting.
And then you woke up at home.
Yeah, it's all a dream. So I get on the plane, and I'm like, oh, finally. I'm like all stressed. And, of course, the Wi-Fi doesn't work. Nothing. There's no TV. There's no plugs. Yeah. I'm like, my battery is about to die because I'm looking at the flight updates every second in the line. The battery like goes away. I'm literally just sitting down, staring at a seat without anything to do for 2 hours. It was a nightmare. because I'm too revved up to sleep. I didn't bring a book because I thought I would be like, oh, look at my phone. Or,
Right.
No plug, no internet, just sitting, just like heart pumping out of my body for 2 hours.
Oh.
And then I get to Florida, I get to my brother, see his wife, and I'm like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, our life is great. They don't care. If you only knew what I just went through. They're like, well, what do you want for dinner?
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
You want macaroni and cheese?
Cool. You'll sleep in this room. Take your shoes off.
It was flooding. It was a flood. They're like, all right, do you need medication or something? Are you insane?
All right. This is your bathroom. No, yeah, we totally care. This toilet handle is a little, you got to jiggle it.
We totally care about that thing that didn't happen to us and we don't know anything about.
Sure. We'll hear it on the podcast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you were late to your flight. I mean, that's on you, man.
Yeah, we know you're lazy. Anyways.
When you have something that all you want to do is talk about that.
Yes.
So they're like,
well, I go to this comedy festival, and not everyone there's from New York. So me and the New Yorkers were like, dude, that was crazy, right? Your apartment okay? Yeah. And then the people from LA are like, so is any industry going to be here? And we're like, we almost died.
It's life and death.
We're just happy to perform again.
Yeah, we're happy to have air in our lungs.
I showed up to like the first like hang, and I'm like eating, and the fork is shaking in my hand.
That's how I was at dinner with them. Well, like Saving Private Ryan when he's like opening his canteen or whatever that is.
Guess what my job was before?
I was a teacher. Really, you? I mean, yeah. What do you think he was? Who cares?
Yeah.
What?
You mean the leader?
The leader could talk to people. He's teaching us how to live.
Oh man.
Oh man, God. Yeah, then, so they were like, yeah, I was watching this crazy movie. About a flood? No. Well, I was in one. We know, man.
And then all the videos the next day were of, like, funny stuff. Like, the videos of, like, for New Yorkers, you saw it gushing into the subway. You saw all the trains stopped. You saw people trudging through it. And then the next day, all the people that aren't New York are like, look, and it shows a guy on an inner subway with a beer just floating down.
Yeah, it's like a picture of a subway going through a waterfall underground, and they're like, oh, and a car wash was installed for the subway.
Yeah.
It's lame. Yeah, so I had something else about that. Well, I haven't been to Florida in a while. You could probably relate to this. I remember, like, I was taking a taxi from the airport to their house, and I was just looking out the window. Every car, huge pickup truck. Every guy, little skinny guy with a camo hat. You see those people in Pensacola?
I've been seeing big pickup trucks, but they're so tall I can't see it.
Oh, yeah. I was in a minivan cab, so that's probably why I could see them. Yeah.
You know what's everywhere here is the little lizards.
Yeah, they're everywhere there too. They're like the mice of Florida.
Yeah, like I'm used to them now. You just see them everywhere. But then I'm walking with Eric, the tour manager, and all of a sudden we're walking by a bush and a iguana.
Oh, really?
Like the size of like a full-grown iguana just sprints out of the bush. And I'm like, oh, my God. And I'm like, I jump, and I'm like, Jesus. And, like, no one cares.
Yeah, because how often do we see lizards in New York? We don't see. There are no lizards up here.
No,
Right?
we just have like those 4 turtles that order pizza to the manhole covers.
They have a
but
rat.
like other than,
Have a rat as their teacher.
but yeah, I was a teacher before this. But no lizards. It was huge, and it just runs out. It was terrifying. And I like animals, but when you're not expecting one to jump at you.
Yeah, it's funny. Like when you first see the lizard, and when you get off the plane or your first time in Florida, you're like, "Oh my god, look at that! I need a pic." And then like the 12th time you see him, you're like, "Oh, I guess there's lizards everywhere."
You're like, yeah, big deal. They're like your brother with the hurricane. All right, whatever.
Whatever. What you want? You want potatoes or French fries? A baked potato or sweet potato?
Oh man, is this Sam, by the way?
Sam, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Sam. He's great.
He's great. A fan of the pod. His wife listens to the pod too. So.
Oh wow.
I know what you don't have to call me. I know it was a joke, or whatever. I mean, this is just a joke.
Oh man. I got another thing about the comedy festival.
Okay.
Which, by the way, it relates to the hurricane. I had to go from like, oh my god, am I going to make it, to socializing with people. It's the whole. For people that don't know, a big part of comedy festivals is networking.
Yeah, it's like a summer camp where you're like, oh yeah, well, we're all in a weird place that we're not usually.
Yeah,
let's hang out
and
you go to Applebee's.
And you want to do well because a bunch of comedians that don't know you are watching, and that matters. And they can, people talk. So you're like, oh, hello, and you like, I have social anxiety, obviously, and I'm like just going from 0 to 100, just having to be like, hey, how are you, like all that, and it's like I'm in my head the whole time, and then it's just like nonstop socializing, and like. Everything you're like, all right, got to go to this table, because it's so easy when you have social anxiety to hang out with the same like group the entire weekend.
That's what people usually do. They just gather around their crew, and it becomes
and I
cliquey.
forced myself out of it, and then like one time I came over to a group, I'm like, so what shows do you have?
Oh wow,
today?
good for you, man.
Yeah, and I did, and it was great. I would do it, and then one time I went to this group though, and I'm like, "What shows do you have today?" And they're like, "We just talked about that," and I was like,
What?
"Oh my god!" And I just melted.
Yeah, well, let me know.
Yeah, all right. Well, I won't go to them.
I wasn't there.
And
well, they could ask you about your shows.
No.
So how do you feel after the trip? Was it worth it? Because whenever I go to a festival, I'm like, well, this stunk. I flew all the way there to do bar shows.
Limestone, worth it. Loved it. Had a killer time, and would go again. Had a great time, and I have no bad stories from it. The only thing that happened was, at one point I got like nauseous. I woke up, I was like nauseous in the middle of the night, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna get sick. And I'm sharing a hotel with 2 other comedians.
Oh wow.
That I don't know all that well. And
the festival hooked you guys up like a dorm?
You had like a Facebook group where you're like, hey, anybody need a roommate kind of thing.
Oh, weird.
So I'm like, I can't get sick in this hotel. I don't know these guys. This is gonna be embarrassing. So I sneak out early in the morning. And I go to a pharmacy and buy.
I thought you were going to say you went to a bathroom somewhere else. That's how anxious you are. You had to use a bathroom at like a gas station.
Yeah, I wore a fake mustache. Oh, nothing to see here. And I go to a pharmacy. I buy a 6-pack of ginger ale because they don't have any single ginger ales. So I'm like, and they don't have them, and they're like. Loose,
and they don't have any real medicine.
They had no medicine.
They just had ginger ale. That's the cure-all.
I couldn't find Tums or Pepto, so I'm like, oh my god. So I grabbed ginger ale, and they're in the plastic rings. It's not in a box.
Okay, 6-pack.
So I'm walking down the street early morning with a 6-pack under my arm, drinking one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, I'm at this crosswalk, and there's this guy with a 40 drinking it. And I'm like, oh, my God, I know exactly what's going to happen. And he walks by him, and he goes, great idea, brother. And he's chugging. He's chugging.
I like your style, brother.
And I'm like, my tummy hurts.
Ale, huh? I like ale.
It was such a and then like people are like watching me as I walk to my room. I'm like embarrassed. But yeah.
Look at this. Look at this lunatic drinking soda.
Anyways, yeah, that's all my stuff.
Well, you had a photo. Helena commented on it or whatever.
I do have to talk about that.
It seemed like you were having a horrible time.
So, I don't mean to name. I'm not going to name any names, but it was a group photo. We did this killer show.
Okay.
Killer show. Beth Stelling was the headliner. I go on before her and had a great set. I was like, oh, thank God.
Did she say anything?
She said great set, and then
nice.
remembered me the next day and
that's nice.
said hello and everything. So I'm like, this was great, and everyone on the lineup was fun and nice. I'm like, let's do a group photo.
That was your idea?
Like, that was my idea.
Oh.
Which is, asserting myself and being like, I'm trying to make the most of this festival. One of the members of the lineup leaves before the photo. I get a hold of her. I'm like, come back. Let's do this. And she's like, oh, thank you so much for letting me know. I organized the whole thing.
Wow.
And then they were about to take the picture. I get shoved out of the way.
By who?
I won't say.
Somebody in the photo?
I'm not going to say anything. But I think it wasn't directed towards me intentionally. It was just like so excited to be in the photo.
Somebody was squaring up to be in the prominently in the photo.
And I'm bumped out of it. And that face is me just being like, that's the face of someone that organized the entire thing.
It's being relegated.
Just being shoved out. I'm like, this is one of those group photos where only my neck and head is visible.
Yeah.
I know it.
It looks like somebody spilled something on the photo.
I look like I'm joining it last minute.
But you were the leader.
I was the leader. I'm the leader of the photo, and I'm shoved out. So that face, I made fun of it myself and posted like a zoom in of the face.
Mm-hmm.
But that was, yeah. I was so like, oh my God, all this work.
All this work to be demoted.
Yeah.
Isn't that life, You do all the work, some guy comes in, takes all the credit.
Yep.
It's a group photo. Group project.
Yeah.
Science project.
Yeah, they wave their phone, ba 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 ba, and they get in front of me.
Yep.
They look back at me and go, I can't help you, honey.
If I was in the back of that line, my plane wouldn't have left until today, like 10 days later. What the hell is happening there? Oh, and then on the way back, I'm like, PTSD. I stuttered there. PPSD.
Oh, that's when you peed your pants and think about it.
Yeah. That's That's when you have a traumatic stress disorder from pooping. I was like, we gotta leave early. I made my dad leave 2 hours early. Literally, the only line was for clear.
Yeah.
I was in the wrong line. I was like, there's a line. It must be it. And they're like, do you have your clear form? I'm like, huh? They're like, you have to get back over there. And they point to something that has no line. And it's a TSA guy just leaning against the x-ray machine. Bored.
Yeah, like the pilot.
Yeah. This bored guy. I'm like, huh? I gotta go over there. And of course that plane's delayed. And, go figure, everybody. Go figure.
Oh, man.
So, we got to get into the topics, right? Unless you had something else.
No.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, let me pull up this email. We got a nice email from Mighty B. Or no, I'm sorry. Might Be Slightly. Mighty B Slightly? Or
Might be slightly.
They signed off as Might Be.
Okay, might be.
Might be. Okay. All right, I see. It says, Dear Panic Attackers, I've developed some bathroom anxiety throughout COVID. I'm always nervous that wherever I am going, we won't have a bathroom readily available. Thinking about having to go to the bathroom makes me have to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
Yeah, me too. Well, it's longer, but we can just address this part first. Yeah, all the time. When I'm like, oh, I don't know if a place has a bathroom, I'm like, I have to pee right now. And I think it's because of the nervousness and you're thinking about it. Your body's like, oh, a bathroom. Yeah, that's a great idea. You should pee your pants.
I'm that way with when someone's like, better go to the bathroom before we leave. And I'm like, I'm fine. And then as soon as I'm like, do I have to go to the bathroom? And then I have to go as soon as I get in the car.
And that goes by as hungry too. If I'm
yes.
Like, somebody's like, I might get hungry on the trip, so I brought some snacks. And I'm like, I wasn't hungry, but now I am, and I have no snacks.
And I'm gonna have those snacks.
Well, they're eating them.
You're just like,
yeah. By the way, on the plane ride back, this I don't want to shame anyone or whatever, but a little overweight person had this huge bag of gummy worms, and then she fell asleep like before she could open them. So she had this huge bag of gummy worms, and I'm sitting there like, damn, I really want those. I really want those gummy worms. I never craved gummy worms in my life, but now.
Yeah, she made them look good.
She made them look good, and then she's sleeping literally the whole flight, and then she makes like pig noises like in her sleep. So
snoring, you mean?
No, she goes. I think because she had sinus problems.
Oh yeah.
It sounded like a pig snort. So I'm just sitting there hungry. Of course, same flight back, no TV, no anything, no Wi-Fi. Just staring at a big bag of gummy worms with somebody going.
It's almost like she's mocking you for wanting to pig out. Yeah, you want these, don't you, you little piggy? You can't have any.
And then the first thing we land, and I look at her, and she wakes up, looks at her phone, texts her boyfriend, I'm hungry. Can we go to Applebee's or something? And I'm like, you have that gummy worms there. You're not going to eat those?
You say it out loud.
Yeah. You have food on your lap that I could have ate. The privilege of this person with a big bag of snacks. What?
If you're going to Applebee's, can I have those gummy worms?
Yeah. Well, you won't need these. I mean, obviously. The currency of snacks in the airplane is like Bitcoin. It goes from like nothing into the highest worth thing in the world. Okay, so back to the email. We got sidetracked here. I'm just saying, when you think about something, it makes me want to do something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
One little thought immediately makes me want to do whatever I'm thinking about. So I relate to the bathroom thing.
I'd say go to the bathroom before you leave your home every time.
No matter what, yeah. Or stop somewhere, rest stop, bathroom. Okay, yeah. So this person goes on to say, I'm nervous to go on long car rides or go on hikes or do anything where I'm away from a bathroom because I get anxious that I'm going to have to hold it in. Yeah, holding it in really hurts. I mean, it really.
Oh yeah,
that's the worst feeling. We talked about it on one of the other episodes where I had to get the comic to ride home and I had to pee the whole time. So then
I think about that liar liar line where he goes, "I read that if you hold it in, it could damage your bladder and even make it hard to be aroused." And the judge is like, "Is that true?" And Jim Carrey's like, "It has to be." And he's like, "Let's do a recess."
Oh, because he has to pee.
And they're all worried. They're all worried about not being able to get aroused anymore.
Oh, everyone. Oh, yeah. Everyone goes to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Man, that was a brilliant movie when you think about it. So the person goes on to say, or might be goes on to say, I think it was a combination of public restrooms being closed during COVID and being home for a year with a restroom at arm's reach that has
Right.
that has given me any issue. Any advice? Well, first of all, my advice to you is to move into a bigger place because if you can hold out your arm and a toilet's there.
Yes. You definitely need to be washing your hands. Pandemic or no pandemic.
Yeah, can you imagine like stretching before bed? Hand goes in the toilet.
Gunk.
Yeah. Whoosh.
Oh man, so funny.
But I do.
The alarm clock's next to the plunger.
I do feel for this person because in New York City, especially now it's a little less because indoor is opening up. But before it was like Wild West bathroom time. Like you had literally.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how people did it. I mean, they had to pee on the street, I guess.
Yeah, I just remember, like any walk I did, there was nothing, and there was nowhere to go, and I'm like, well, it would make everything shorter because you had no place to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I do remember there was a show in Central Park, and I was like,
yeah.
I'm going to do a Central Park show and then like hang out and go to here, go there. I had like a whole kind of like afternoon planned around this Central Park show. Go to the bathroom, closed because of COVID. You couldn't use the public restroom.
Yeah.
I did the show having to pee my pants, and then I just went home. Instead of like hanging out all day, I just went home because that was the only place I knew where the bathroom was, and then I just stayed home, all because of the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to the bathroom at home and then drive away because, like this might be said, you might have to go again. I don't know.
I think, a lot of places are open with mask mandate things. So just, have your mask on you. They'll probably let you go to the bathroom there. And on a hike, I mean, go to the bathroom before because that's not reliable of there being anything unless you're ready to do it in public. And in that case, you definitely want a mask so no one can recognize you.
That's true. That's easier to pee in public when you have a mask on.
Yeah.
Especially if you have one of those, you see those ones where people tie a handkerchief around their face so they look like a bandit.
Yeah.
Could be the pee bandit.
The bladder bandit.
The bladder bandit. Might be. The B stands for bladder. All right, so I have one more thing. I think we have time, right? Oh, we have like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So Reddit posted again under our anxiety. This person, user Footwaffle, said, anxiety is quirky until it's just plain weird. She says, I was really leaning into my whole new quirky anxiety thing with my new friends in college because they seemed entertained by how it affects me. Like the weird, almost OCD behavior when I have things that are out of place and the mini anxious leg swings that I do when I'm sitting. I overshared and they're a bit put off and concerned because I thought it'd be funny to mention that I pray to the rosary every time I drive these past few months out of fear I'm going to crash. Well, first of all, what the hell? I mean, like, people are laughing that you shake your leg when you sit. I mean, like, what? How little entertained are these people? Or easily entertained?
Those people, that bothers me. I remember, like, my legs shake from anxiety whenever I'm sitting. I'm always moving my legs.
Yeah, why do we do that? You just do a leg bounce, right? Like, I do my left leg up and down.
I got a couple moves.
Heel comes up. Foot extends, heel comes back down, and then it repeats like a jackhammer.
Yeah, yes. So I've got the jackhammer, but my go-to one is imagine there's a mini accordion in between my knees, and I'm just going in and out like that.
You're playing it with your knees?
Yeah. My legs go in it back and forth like I'm trying to make my chair take off the ground, and
like Weird Al and Another One Rides the Bus. He plays the accordion in that one.
It looks like I have to go to the bathroom, but people will grab my leg and stop it.
Oh,
And they're like, this is annoying. And I'm like,
I hate when that happens because I'm like, oh, people notice this. Because in
yeah,
your head
it's
you're
so
like, oh,
frustrating.
no one sees under what's going on under the table.
Yeah, it's the Wizard of Oz down there.
Pay no attention to the leg.
Anyone judging you on how you deal with your stress is got way bigger problems than you have. So, unfortunately, that's out of your control and their issue to deal with. But also, don't surround yourself with those people.
Yeah,
they stink.
And don't feel pressure on yourself to be like a freak show attraction. Oh, the anxiety person. Let's all look at them for our own amusement.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think I had that in somewhere where probably like in grade school or something where I was like, oh, I'll be this guy now. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, yeah.
You try to like, it's easier to be a thing than you.
Yeah. I had that with my ex's family when it came to food. I have like, eating anxieties, and they're like, let's watch him have this food.
Oh.
And it's like, really? This is like a party game?
Yeah, you're the TV, man.
Yeah.
You're the entertainment.
Well, there must have been a flood.
Oh man, what do you think the leg bouncing is caused by? Just the energy we want to expel? Does it help us?
I think you're exactly right. You're getting rid of all that extra energy.
By just bouncing a leg. You ever like think, this has happened to me a couple times where I'll bounce my leg, out of nervousness, but it won't be that fast. It'll just be like kind of like up and down or whatever. And then you'll sit next to somebody who's really pumping their leg, and you're like, what's wrong with them? They do the leg thing like worse than you, and you're like, oh my God, look at this.
Mine's always fast, so you must be talking about me.
No, one time I sat next to this guy whose leg went like I couldn't even see it. It was like the Flash.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was just like a blur. It was like one leg and then a blur next to his other leg.
I mean, I've been doing it this entire episode.
Hey, it makes you count toward your steps.
Yeah, like actually, my whole body's in the frame of this camera. You just can't see it; it's moving so fast.
Well, anyway, so my advice to this person is start over with a new group of friends and be yourself. I don't know.
Be yourself, and if something makes you feel safer and isn't putting you at risk or others, I mean, that's a step in the right direction of feeling comfortable.
Yeah, that's a step
being
in the
okay.
right direction, and then a couple steps up and down as you're sitting.
Oh, man. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. We love you. It's been a lot of fun. This one I'm holding close to my heart because I missed you.
Oh, yeah, man. I love the reuniting.
Yeah,
it feels
so good.
And thanks to Might Be for writing in, everybody. So
yes,
Might Be
you.
emailed us, panicattackingpodcast@gmail.com, or our names at Gmail.
Yeah, just email the podcast that Andrew the email that Andrew just mentioned, and send us your topics at any time. If you get them to us before Sunday, we'll read them on the podcast.
Yeah. Now I'm nervous that we missed one.
I didn't see any others.
Okay. All right. Well, we didn't really ask for any either, but the real fans know to send them in.
And we'll remind people in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
But thank you, everybody, for listening. Patreon, 4 bonus episodes a month for $5. Check us out on social media. We love you. Thanks for listening.
And YouTube, video on YouTube.
Yes.
See you later, everybody. Thank you.